with another episode of Brew Your Mind, the podcast where we get to drink coffee and beer, and you get to sit back and listen to us ramble about what's on our minds. I'm Justin, and with me is no surprise to any of you people out there, is my man Jesse. What's up, man?
Back by demand of the people.
By
it is
popular
me.
demand.
It is me, the one and only.
Yes.
YouTube famous entrepreneur, Jesse, checking in.
That's right.
Hello, how are you,
My man
Justin?
Gibbs.
Trying to keep the level a little bit lower this time. I don't want to go too, balls to the wall first off.
I get that.
Screaming in people's ears.
We have to build up to that.
I get a little bit too excited sometimes, I just go too hard.
I don't think.
My heart's racing because I'm nervous again. I get nervous doing this. Like, am I going to say the wrong thing? And what am I not going to say anything at all?
The silence.
I'm scared.
And
Because I got people I know that watch this.
Yeah.
And then I got to face all that. Be like, man, I saw what you was talking about, and I could have expanded. I had Kyle. I saw him earlier today. He was like, he's an avid listener now, and he's one of my good friends, Kyle. He's like, I listen to that and see, like, sometimes I'll be screaming because I'm like, I want you to go more into the subject. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
Maybe live stream
Probably.
in the future. Oh, my.
Yeah,
Did you give Kyle the mug?
Oh, no, because I haven't picked it up from the post office
That's
yet.
weird that I sent to you, and it's just going to go to the post office. Like, it's not actually going to get sent to your address.
Sometimes when things come from out of states to me here, they won't drop it off here.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Very interesting.
But anyway, I'm gonna jump right into it, dude. I'm drinking something different today.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more, please. Please.
I need coffee right now. I just got off that night shift again, but
Yeah, you did.
Here it is. Showing it to the camera here. Let's see. It is actually a cold brew. It's a little can, and I don't even know what company it is. It just says cold brew, high brew coffee. Okay, it's a salted caramel one. All right. I don't even know where it's made, but I saw it in the store, and I was like, I should change it up. Oh, this is made in Austin, Texas, so I bet it's got a little bit of that barbecue flavor to it.
Ooh.
Let's pop a top.
Yeah.
Again. You like that? You like that, dude?
I do, because normally you have it ready to go, and it's poured, and now it's so fresh.
That's pretty good. It's not too sweet. I'd give that, if I had some oat milk in it now.
Oh,
I don't know.
let's not bring up the oat milk yet.
That's a solid 6, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm easy to please, though.
That's the problem with most of the cold brews. I feel like some of them try to be too sweet. I don't know. You have to find the right one. Iced coffee.
Man, that's you.
Iced coffee. I'm kind of like, about. I mean, I get it. Summertime, sure. Right now,
Summertime fine.
That's what I am. The coldest part of Alaska, and you drinking some cold brew.
Yeah, dude. It's like -5 out right now, Fahrenheit, for the UK listeners out there. -5 Fahrenheit, man. What do you think about that?
That is so cold. That is so cold.
All right, what you got over there?
Yeah.
What you drinking on, dude?
Got a Doom Bar. It is a popular beer over here that's normally off the tap. You go to a pub. Give me a Doom Bar. And can you give me a British accent real quick for that?
Oi, bruv, can you give me a fucking Doom Bar?
I love that. And for the British listeners that are listening and watching, I love that. That's great.
I don't know. That was not. I didn't ramp up to it. I wasn't in the mood. Like, if I do an accent, I have to kind of be whispering it to myself. Like,
that's true.
I don't know.
And it is an amber ale.
Oh man, listen to that ASMR. It's the Brew ASMR. We're renaming this channel.
I like where you're going with that.
That's good.
Doom Bar, 4.3%, so pretty light as an amber ale. Cornwall, the UK. Okay, here we go. Bottoms up. Cheers, my friends.
I drink that too. I was drinking at the same time. I think we cheers each other from across the world.
Perfect. I even cheers into the camera too. So, amber ale, super good. I'm a fan of it. Solid 7 out of 10. What's different about this Doom Bar that I'm having compared to the Doom Bar you can probably get at a pub is it's a lot more colder. You go to the pub, you get it, and it's just a chill above room temperature, and that's how they love it. That's how them Brits here enjoy that kind of beer. So I had to get used to it a little bit, but I prefer mine ice cold. So that's what it is.
Ice cold.
That's what we're drinking today, guys. And if you're listening, of course you're listening because you wouldn't be hearing this part. Tag us in some stuff or let us know what you're drinking out there too. All right, I'm curious.
I want to know what water you're drinking.
Now I do drink some Smart Water. For some reason, I always buy Smart Water.
Dude, I had a wild dream last night. I did. I had a wild dream. It was 2 parts.
Please tell me.
It's been bothering me. I had a wild dream. It was like part 1 of it was me having this super anxiety attack about leaving my career and worrying about trying to find something else. And I was like panicking. I was like, no. Like almost just afraid, just like of the unknown, of the risk. And I was like, no, I can't leave my job that I've known for almost 8 years. And even though I don't love it, kind of hate it, but it's like I had this panic attack. And then immediately right after, I had a much more heavy feeling. It's like the opposite side. And in this dream, it was almost like I was a younger version of myself, where it was like I felt like a kid or something. I don't know. But I think my dad was there, but he wasn't really saying much. I felt him there though. And like I was at this venue or somewhere, and there weren't too many people there, but I had this feeling like there was this guy there, and I don't know who he was, but I viewed him. I had this feeling like I viewed him like he was a rock idol or someone that I like extremely looked up to, like a celebrity figure or something. Mm-hmm. Well, I saw him and I was talking to him, and I was just like, just kind of blown away being in his presence. And then all of a sudden there's this, there was like a drum set on stage, and it was just like an open thing. And for some reason he asked me to go up and play, I don't know, to some song. And I'm like, it just scared to death at this point, Mm-hmm. And like, I feel like the one thing in my life that I felt like in my own world and comfortable at, and just so cocky at, I guess, is, well, not now, but at one point was playing drums. I just felt like I could do anything.
You're the best.
And so I'm up there and I just play, and I don't even remember playing in a dream, but it was over, and it was like, it went super well. And I got off stage, and he came up, I was talking to him, and he gave me a guitar, which his guitar felt like he was handing down some kind of heirloom or something. Or is that the word? I don't know. Some kind of family thing. And it was like this huge thing from him. You could tell he was like, I'm giving you this guitar because I believe in what you have. And it was like that message of someone, because, you get compliments every now and then. Like some people are like, man, what you're doing is sick. Or, in the past when I've done music projects, and you get compliments from your peers. But this was so heavy because I felt like, of course he knew everything about this world. Everything I dream about, those aspects. That was so overwhelming. And I just, like, in the dream, I just was overwhelmed. I was just crying because I was just like, I can't believe that, it was almost like affirmation that this is what I should do. Or not the equivalent of that, but, something that I'm just wanting, like, passionate about.
Yeah.
All these little things I think I dip my toes in, like even doing podcasts is a glimpse into that kind of person or the kind of things I want to do more.
The creativity.
And so, I've been doing I've been doing the music thing lightly for years, and I'm at this point now, and it's almost like I just go back and forth so much about the fear of jumping out of this career and jumping straight into super risky and unknown world of, like something I would really want to do is, and I think I've known I wanted to do it over 10 years. It's just like music production for people, stuff like that, working with people on a creative level.
Yeah.
it just brings out some fire. But then, then I have this huge other side where I feel like, well, everyone can't just always up and quit their jobs and, chase a dream and be that starving artist type of thing. So, but I just had this overwhelming dream where I had both sides happen right after the other. And
Dude,
I just don't know what it is, man. It is, and it's freaking me out. It's like, I have a therapist appointment in like a couple weeks, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place, but I just want to keep it routine and kind of go every once a month. And I feel like I just got to explore this. Like, what does this mean? Like, is this ever going to go away?
Yeah.
Am I ever going to be okay? Like, or am I going to look back at doing 20 years hypothetically in the military and just be like, what if I just gave it another go?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And dude,
I'm tormented.
That's props to you for trying to dive into it a little bit further and trying to find like the true meaning of it too. Because a lot of people, they just scoff at it and move on and like, oh, I'm just gonna stick to what's comfortable, what I'm used to. So props to you to take on a little bit of the next step, to see what happens. It doesn't hurt to I don't know, keep all the doors open that you can. But I get what you're saying, like.
Yeah.
Speaking about the doors, you don't want to close one door and then that other door where you thought you had open.
Yeah.
It's not as open as you thought, I guess. So I can see how it'd be difficult. And it's crazy you had that in depth of a dream, and pretty crazy that
it was crazy
that deep, that quick into this episode. And I love it. I'm in on it.
Yeah. I know it's not what our topic is, but it's just so surreal, and it's been at me all day. And I even ended up emailing one of my friends, Dylan, who's he does a lot of the music work and production type stuff. And he's a great dude, but I feel like I've seen his transformation from since I've known him over 10 years ago to how he is now. And it's just like, man, something about what that dude is doing. You could just see joy through when I'm around him, when I've been around him, or when through his Instagram stories, stuff like that. But you can tell it's genuine. It's just like, man, he's just nerding out about the weirdest audio stuff. And I just sit there and I'm just like, I love all the stuff that he's doing. And it just brings back this little spark. Because I think at the times where I've been like the most on fire, like blown away with what's going on, has been the times where I've been around people in the studios and stuff like that. And seeing the result, what's happening, it's just been like, I can't believe I'm involved in this right now, I don't know. So it's a balance. I feel like I was in it like that, hardcore, and then something changed. I think I went through a phase where I was like, it's time to grow up. That was a thing, that was a dream thing, and I need to move on. And that pretty much happened when I joined the military. And I don't know. I feel like I just stifled that side of me because I was like, I don't know. But now it's just this feeling it's just getting worse and worse. It's like the older I get, the more anxious I get about it, and the sense of urgency is just like, oh my God, I'm running out of time to give that another shot. Yeah, I don't know. It's my birthday was this week. It's like 2 days ago. So
my gosh,
every time I keep thinking about stuff like this. So
this is on air, and I am apologizing. We talked about this on the last episode. I didn't even hit you up. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm sorry.
For what?
Happy belated birthday.
I thought you did.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't remember. I got
awful,
I got quite a few messages from people, so I don't even.
Awful.
I don't.
Everyone listening knows
how bad. I think you did. We'll just say you
I
did
know.
to make you feel better.
My goodness, now I feel like
my podcast partner didn't even.
Crap. We talked about it in the last
I
episode
didn't broadcast
too, about your birthday coming up. Man.
Oh, we did. But yeah, that's not really a subject to really jump into because
God, it's on my calendar on my phone.
Is it really?
Yeah, February 12th. I just went back. It's on there 12th, or it's on there twice for some reason.
I think it's easier for people to forget now if you get rid of Facebook, because I got rid of Facebook. So
yeah, that's a constant reminder.
A lot of people didn't know.
It also saves a lot of people money for birthday cards because they can just write on your wall and say "Happy Birthday," and which is interesting because every time a birthday comes across on Facebook, you just get some happy birthdays from people that it's like, I haven't talked to you in years. Like, what are you doing? Like, this just pops up a notification, and you're just gonna drop down a happy birthday. I'd rather just have more sincere happy birthdays, and here I am saying this, and I didn't even wish you a happy birthday. Wow, talk about feeling like crap now. So, I like that you mentioned that this is not really on the topic, but I like that you're able to talk about it anyway. Because I mean, that's the point of this podcast anyway. Is we ramble about what's on our minds. Obviously, this is something specifically has been on your mind today, hitting you hard. So
yeah,
I'm glad you're able to
super heavy.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to talk about it and share a little bit. And I hope you're able to find some kind of resolution to it. And
well, the good news is, out of all this, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this.
I forgot your birthday, so you can completely cut me off.
I'm moving. I deserve this spotlight right now. But this coming summer, I'll be moving down south, closer to these people I want to explore these options with. So that was my main goal for trying to get down to Savannah, was to get 5-6 hours away from home. So I have these people like Dylan, that I've been wanting to. We've talked lightly about ideas and different things to explore, and I just, I'm gonna dip my toes into it. So I think I'm going about it the right way. I'm keeping my stable job while exploring. Is this a good route I can take to get out if I want to get out the military? I can risk it, but I'm not brave enough to drop it all on a dime and just go for it. But hey, man. That's it. And also, I do want to add one last thing. I know I talked last week about that, what was that book I was talking about, 30 Rules for Living or something?
Yeah.
I mentioned that. Well, because of that dream, it sparked me to just jump into that book again. Sorry, I keep burping that drink. But
I literally
I haven't really read anything this week. It was just a blur. Did you? Yeah. But I read a little bit at work, and a lot of it was more or less just a lot of elderly people or people that have lived the experienced life saying more or less to find something, try different jobs and find something that you can at least love to go to and don't worry about the money part. Of course, there was a few that were bouncing in there, like you don't want to be a starving artist thing, of course. But I was reading that and I was just like, why am I reading this? Because this is just almost making me feel like more anxious about where I'm at. But I just got to remind myself, like, I'm in a good place, got a stable job, I got something coming up on the line, and I can explore those options. So I don't know, man, crazy dream. I had a massage yesterday, like a or day before yesterday for my birthday, deep tissue. So I think that might have released some wild chemicals throughout my body, made me hallucinate last night in my dreams. That might have been it.
The case.
Is that a thing?
The case.
That break up those
now.
muscles and stuff.
It started
like
here.
Man. I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Yeah. And like you said, I like how you ended it, and you ended it more of like a positive note that you do have something you don't take for granted, and that is a stable job.
Yeah,
and it puts you down, it kicks you down a couple times. Here lately, probably a little more than often, but it's still paying you good money, and you're still living the good life.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it allows me some a little bit of free time and money to do stuff like this, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't have to work 2 jobs.
One thing that stood out to me, this is completely off of the subject, but you mentioned earlier while you were telling your dream about, like, you said a word. I forgot exactly what word it was, but you mentioned, is it a word? And that reminded me that this week I downloaded an app called Word of the Day, because I thought to myself, there's times where I could be in a conversation with someone, and not obviously face to face, but texting or messaging, and they drop a word, and it's like, I've heard this word, but I don't necessarily know the definition. So I catch myself, open up Safari, find a quick definition, like, oh, okay. And then it makes me think, like, why don't I ever use these kind of words? Like, immensely. No, I'm just kidding. Not like that. But the word of the day.
I was about to say that.
I know. I had to beat you to it. But this Word of Day app, it just drops a word in the definition each day, like a notification. So I'm like trying to like broaden my vocabulary. So if you hear some weird words from here on out during the podcast, it's me trying too hard. Okay? Just a heads up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I like that.
Outside of that, I want to mention a story that happened to me this morning. I'm driving back from base from the gym, and I feel like I was in the right, but of course, whenever you're driving and there's like a near accident, each person's going to think that they're kind of in the right. So, getting out of this roundabout, I thought I was in the right lane. It seemed like I was. This other car was trying to take like the same lane as mine, so we were trying to merge into the same lane. It's even funnier because I'm driving on the left side of my car and he's driving on the right side of his car. So when we're merging into this lane together, he's on my left, so I can literally see like we're face to face, looking at each other, us trying to merge into this lane. It happens
Because you
so
got your
slowly.
American car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we try to do that, and then we yeah, it's like kind of Fast and Furious, kind of like when we're like up close to each other. It's a really funny image to think about, and it happens so slowly in my mind. But we're merging together, and at the last second, I don't know, it felt like our mirrors touched. Like it was close, but it didn't. And then we went back to our separate lanes. And I look back over, and he does the whole middle finger, but British style, like the peace sign in like a sideways, and flips it off at me. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, that I see that. I don't, obviously because I'm American, we're not used to that in the States. It's just a middle finger. But I see that. I just I kind of like giggle a little bit, or like a chuckle. I'm like, I get what you're trying to say, but it's just a weird way of saying it. So I think I'm going to bring that type of British middle finger back to the States with me and just spread it like a virus. I probably shouldn't say like a virus. Probably not.
Too soon.
Too soon.
They do that. What they do for what's the middle finger equivalent?
So it's like
I
a
forgot.
backwards peace sign, and they just throw it up at you like real quick, And
Weird.
Yeah. He may have called me like C word or something too. I don't know. I can't tell. We were really close together, so I mean, it happened slow, but after it, he just sped off. So that happened to me today, and it was on my mind today. Like, I don't know.
It's on your mind, dude. It's brewing it up. He was like, bloody wanker is what he said.
Basically what he said.
I don't know.
We got a British friend, Liam. Shout out to you, man, if you're listening. He used to always hook me up with some British slang that I couldn't believe. So I'd love to get him on this podcast so we can do some kind of British American breakdown of slang vocabulary and what it is to us compared to what it is for them. But outside of that, man, this week for me, I don't know how you do it, and I'm gonna sound like a fool, but I worked 2 12-hour shifts and they were so bad. You do them all the time, and then I just do them 2 times, and it's like those days are just shot. And like here we are today, you just got off a 12-hour shift, and you're taking your time and recording this episode. So I really do appreciate.
You know
that.
why?
Why?
We're on a mission, dude. We're on a damn campaign. Remember?
That's right, and we're. And I feel like I just need to suck up to you and just like get brownie points because I forgot your birthday, dude. That's not going to get off my mind. So, hey, really appreciate it. You're amazing. You're the best. I owe you my life, Gibbs.
I know.
But before we dive into the topic, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
No. That was pretty much it. I had that weighing heavily on my mind, but here we are. We're surviving, suffering.
Dream.
I ain't got nothing to complain about. Life's good,
It really
the mind
is
a powerful thing, though. It can take you to dark places.
And I like that you mentioned life is good because there are times where you're going through life and you go through some obstacles, and it kind of dives into the topic that we're going to talk about today. And the main question is, does hardship make a person stronger? Looking at hardships, I want to break them down a little bit because obviously you could have personal hardships, where you're dealing with some issues with yourself. Not really issues, but I think kind of that dream that you had could be considered a hardship, right?
A very slow burn.
A slow burn, this conflicting matter that you're going through. Relationships, of course, finances, which I feel like it should be a hardship on everyone at one point in their lives, at least. Emotional hardships, and then like any big changes in life, like you mentioned, moving. I'm moving as well. That could also, that's going to be a hardship as well. It's going to increase stress. But do you think going through these hardships, do you think on the other end of it, does it make you stronger, or does it feel like some unnecessary stress that we don't need to go through?
Well, from my experience, it depends. So from my experience. I feel like I had a very easy childhood, and nothing really went wrong. For like nothing detrimental, out of the blue. The worst thing that probably happened was death in the family, but it was expected, kind of thing, like your grandmother or something. So I felt like because I had such a, I don't know, easy life, and I feel like I was liked by everyone, and I knew what I was good at. So like right after high school, I wasn't in any hard college. I didn't go to college. I just jumped straight into this like floaty lifestyle of being a musician. So I had, I was around circles of people that was just approving of me and what I was doing. So it felt good. And then really the first thing I think that destroyed me was going through a divorce. I mean, that made me understand depression and depressed people and the feeling that they describe as like just, you don't want to do anything, like hopelessness, just empty. And all you want to do is just let time pass, And it's just a weird thing. And I felt like that because that was such a hard thing for me, and I didn't have anything before that kind of almost prepped me for it. It just set me back for a while. And it still, I still struggle with some of that, but what I struggle with now is just trying to be preemptive because I'm afraid of things out of my control, people around me that I can't control. You know what I mean? So I have this tendency to just keep a lot of friends. I think even moving in the military has made me keep a lot of friends at arm's length. I'm not really a super close good friend like I used to be. And maybe that's just getting older. I think a lot of people do that in general, getting older.
You're better than me. I forgot your birthday.
Ha, dude. No way.
Go ahead, keep going, sorry.
I'm really bad with friends' birthdays. I don't remember hardly anyone's. But, yeah, I don't know. I felt like that just, that was super, super hard. So for a while, I feel like it didn't make me better, like stuff like that. And I think maybe some people have, they're kind of made like the way that, like, I guess we could throw it back to personality types, and maybe you have certain strengths and weaknesses towards certain things. So you're kind of already maybe prepped for being more resilient than others. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like I look at people around me and they don't, like I get overwhelmed with things that go wrong or certain things a lot easier, I think, than a lot of other people. So I have to be a lot more cognizant and like practice these things and keep and check my perception and like, I don't know. I have to really be aware. So it's exhausting, but I don't know. I think in general, of course, failure and, falling down and getting back up and, all the experience you gain from that on paper, I think is good. But for me, the only thing I can really relate it to was I had one really hard thing happen, and it kind of just fucked me up for a while, being totally real. And everything's good now, but like I said, I still have these like traumatic feelings sometimes. Like, my girlfriend gets the brunt of that sometimes. It's not fair to her.
Yeah.
But it's like this weird reactionary thing I have sometimes.
No,
and
I get
do
that.
it with her. I do it with everyone. It's like it takes me a long, long time to let the walls down sometimes, or let people in, or really open up and talk about real things. It took me, I should have went to a therapist 2 years ago probably, or longer. And it took me, I just started going a few months ago. I just had enough of this chapters of ups and downs. And I was like, well, I'm good. I'm feeling good now, but I know the valley's coming, and I don't want that anymore. So
no, I
don't
that.
know.
And
I don't know.
I like that you mentioned the walls coming down, because I'll start where, growing up, I saw a counselor. I forgot how old I was, or a therapist, a couple times, but man, the emotions were flowing, and it was mainly because mom and dad, they split up, and kind of, his dad did his own thing, lived with my mom, and I was always holding that in as a kid, how frustrated I was with it, then come to find out, I talked about it more with them or with the counselor, and my mom was there with me as well. So, and like me talking about it, it actually kind of solved it a little bit, because obviously I never really talked about it. So my mom hearing it for the first time, how I actually felt, she actually kind of rekindled. I mean, like my mom and dad were separated from I was age like 3 to 10. Here I'm 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, breaking this down. And it kind of opens your eyes a little bit. And for some reason, they get back together. Everything's good to go. So obviously there was a positive effect from, like opening up, letting the walls down. And then they split apart a little shortly after. But I mean, that's the positive impact right there is what I wanted to focus on the most. And then that was a tough hardship for me. And then obviously those that know me, we're gonna get real personal here on the podcast. Hope you guys enjoy this. But it was 2015. Mom passed away unexpectedly, and then 2017, Dad passed away unexpectedly, and 2015 with my mom. After that happened, I was, and that could be more why I am the way that I am today with my feelings, and just keep them in a little bit more. Because when that happened, I was just so frustrated, and trying to figure out why and all this kind of stuff. All my emotions were just spewing out of me, and I didn't like that. That was uncharacteristic of me. So kind of changed that. And then 2017 with my dad, I was actually in ALS during that time. Oh, it was like the third week. And then, I find out the news the night before class. I go back, and it's just like this instructor's teaching something, and I'm just not there, obviously. Yeah. She pulls me aside. She asks what's going on, of course. I tell her. They give me the option to, pull out and start again some other time. And that was the last thing. I mean, if you go through any kind of hardship like that, I feel like not really keep your mind busy, but I think as it happens, you have to stay focused on, what's going on in your life and not get sidetracked. And of course, I mean, you're going to have that time to grieve or reflect, but you should try to do it in a time where it's not completely throwing you off your path of whatever you're trying to do. So, and I agree with what you're saying with eventually I think they make you stronger. But during the time of them, I mean, I think it's just, I want to focus on the best way of dealing with them, or how could you improve the process of dealing with the hardship? Because I mean, personally, I believe having someone close, having some friends close, was huge for me throughout it. Having someone to talk to. Tori was there by the side for both of them, and that she played a huge part. And then a couple of friends, I mean, you were there close, especially always checking up on me. So I think having that circle, having that group, and the family and friends is huge to get through them, for overcoming them. I think I just ran out of. I was going to move on to something else, but I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
And I remember like when that happened with your mom, because kind of going back to I haven't had anything like that happen to someone close that I remember. Mm-hmm. So I remember not even knowing how to deal with that, to even talk to you. I felt like I was I don't even know if I should even talk to you, or just not even text, or just let you process it. Because I feel like here I am living this nothing bad happened life. How am I supposed to be someone that can be you could listen to me or understand, or it's hard to explain.
No, I
didn't want to even be there to be hey man, I understand, or even say anything like that, because I obviously can't understand anything like that. Yeah. Especially it happened 2 years, both your mom and dad. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. It's I feel like we're maybe on the exterior, but to me, it's I feel like I throw everything out there so much. I'm always anyone close to me is just man, Jesse's unstable sometimes, and I'm just processing things, and I'm just trying to talk it out more with people around me. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like I've had nothing really tough happen. And then there's someone like you that I often think of who handles things more in a way I would want to. I don't know. Or you seem like you're just so resilient and I don't know. You seem so strong about everything, and your life is completely in order, or so it seems. And I feel
Yeah.
like I'm just a wreck all the time. And I guess that's probably me just comparing myself to people, and I don't mean to, but then I do it, and I'm like, man, I feel like just a wreck, like a fog in my head all the time. I can't figure things out.
It could be. We just kind of got personal and talked about our experiences, and I think after all that happened, I'm not gonna say I became numb to, I don't know, a family member passing away or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it just I with my mom, I went through it tough. With my dad, it was a lot easier because I went through that process, I think, and I knew how I was going to be on the other side, and how time moves on and how it's life. So that's why I think that the experiences are so good to go through, the hardships, and it's just because you're more prepped and you're more prepared to kind of like tackle and overcome any others that you experience throughout your life. So
The sad thing is I remember talking to one of my friends about it here maybe a couple years ago, and I was just like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. Told her about it, and she was just like, she just blatantly said, she was like, you're never going to be the same. And I was like, I didn't want to come to that realization that she was right. And because I looked at it in such a negative way that I was like I've completely lost my innocence and optimism on life now in a certain way. Like the excitement's gone, something's gone, or something has changed. And viewed it in just such a negative way when she said that so bluntly. I was like, no, I don't want to change. I want to remain this same super fun, optimistic, fun-loving guy, but I'm not. And you kind of, it's like I had an identity crisis sometimes because I viewed myself as this guy that everyone loved to be around, that was always friendly and optimistic and fun. I could bring people up. And then something like that happens and it changes you. And then you have to come to the grips like, you know what, that's life, and you do change. You do maybe become a little bit more cynical or less innocent and excited about things, I guess, sometimes. But I guess there's a good side to that, for instance, maybe I do keep people at a distance now because I'm afraid of people moving away like they do in our careers, or you moving away and losing friends. And I even thought that about you. I remember you leaving that parking lot. I saw you when you were driving away. I was like,
rough.
Yeah, I was like, man, because we were so close.
Yeah.
And I felt like you were one of the first best friends I'd made since I don't know when.
Military, at least,
Yeah, and then you driving away, I was like, man, that's it. That was like a heartbreak for me because I was like,
I haven't even thought about that. Golly.
yeah, because I thought I was like, well, we're going to fall apart because that's what people do when they're not around each other usually. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. And then there's been repetitions of that, and then you go through a breakup that's hard, but then the good side is, I guess It makes you pick people, I guess, a little bit more wiser. Like let people in your circles or your circle of trust or whatever a little bit, better. You keep the negative people out. You're a little bit more selective, I think. Because, I don't know. I guess that's anyone. You learn through the crazy, dramatic people that you end up finding yourself around, and then you start to pick your people very closely.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to find something good out of that. But I think everyone handles hardships differently. I feel like
they do.
I'm still, even at 32, man, I feel like I still have a really hard time. I get overwhelmed like crazy. So still trying to work on it.
I think regardless, we're talking about all people here and how they could treat different hardships differently, and how each person does it differently. I think it's just important for each person to consciously, tell themselves to take action, and move forward. Because the worst part about hardships and the worst thing that could happen for someone going through it is letting it kick you down and you just staying down, and then the rest of your life comes crashing down. So, yeah, I think personally speaking, and I'm not an expert. I've been through some hardships in life. I feel like the biggest thing I could say is to actually take action. I mean, it
Yep.
comes down to that. Take control of your life, because it's your life, and just keep moving forward, because no matter how old you are, you still got time ahead of you, and you can't let one hardship, one obstacle, one negative thing set you back. I mean, you're gonna have time to reflect on it, but I promise you can reflect on this kind of stuff while moving forward. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you find you're around the right people and you're in the right situation, you can make it happen. So.
Yeah, that's good. And I feel like what's good about what we just said both ways is like you were talking about how when your dad died, you had the choice to just drop out of the class you were in and kind of give in to that cutting yourself off from something, and kind of giving into that woe is me sort of thing. And I feel like I did that. I feel like when the hardship really happened, when I realized the world was crashing down that I was in, I didn't do anything about it. I went to work miserable, and I came home and I was a zombie until I went to work again, and I didn't do anything. And it only made things incredibly worse, and it prolonged, and it went on for about 6 months probably. Shut down, So there's a good example of here's two different paths you can take. And I understand there's some people, when bad things happen and depression, whatever, it hits you hard, and I understand it, and I still have had that since I've lived here in Alaska. I'll have waves and days, sometimes I haven't in a while, where it's just like nothing can make you feel better, and you don't want to do anything. All you want to do is sit in a corner and do nothing. But you got to, for me, I think you just have to do small steps, and just focus on getting better and get out of your head. And go see a therapist too. That helps too. I don't know.
Yeah, and also remain sanguine. Sanguine? That's my new word.
Uh-oh.
And I can't even say it right. Wait, here we go. Check this out. Oh no, it messed up.
Oh no. Say it. Do it.
Oh, did you hear it?
Sanguine.
Sanguine. Confident and hopeful about what might happen, especially in a difficult situation. I tried so hard to really tie that in, and it was such a failure. So,
hey, man.
Standard stuff here at Brew Your Mind.
You're learning. I love that.
I'm trying to broaden the horizon, but
man, I tell you what, that's what we're here for. We're here to dissect our thoughts and learn and progress. We're an open book right here. Man, this just got wildly deep. Here's what I thought when I saw your topic. I was like, I'm going to jump into my shit. I can talk about it. It's fine. But I didn't think you, and I wasn't going to ask you to jump into it. Because I was like, is he going to really talk about that? Because I think that's a perfect example of something that's extremely difficult. Yeah. I don't know. I dread the day when something happens to my parents. You know?
It's
I don't know.
We'll say it's a hardship, but I feel like it's important to be, especially here on this podcast, those that are listening, you have to be able to relate to the people that are talking. That's the only reason you guys are listening, is because you can relate to us, and you probably all know us well. Those that don't know us, well, now you just know us. You know us really well now. All right. So, and I feel like it's good to get personal and be 100% authentic, while we're talking here. So felt like it was a good time. You said, let the walls down. Why not? Let's get crazy. Let's let them all down. No, I'm gonna keep some up. Cause that's how I am. But man. It was a good topic. It was probably like, I don't know why I chose it. There's a huge list of topics, but it felt appropriate. It felt like it felt a topic that anyone could relate to, that's listening. So,
what's funny is like I don't recall a time where where I've ever actually talked to you much about this, because I remember the last time I talked to you was when your dad passed away, and I remember checking up on you, and you were just like, seemingly handling it really well, and I was like, how the hell? But of course I wasn't going to pry and make you feel like you should be feeling more sad or something, or project those feelings, because that can be really annoying too when people are like, you're handling this really well. What's wrong with you? Are you heartless or something? It's like, come on, like, back off, my dude. But
Exactly.
yeah, we haven't really talked about this that much. Of course, it's not something I want to bring up. I'm not your therapist, you know? How are you feeling about your life? That's wild, dude. See, when I talk about my hardships, they pale in comparison. It's different, though.
It's different. It's a different type of hardship, absolutely, you know. But it falls under the same definition of a hardship, and that's why I mean, like we're dealing with a broad spectrum here when we're talking about hardships. I mean, we covered the extremes basically right there of what you could go through. I mean, you could have something. I'm trying to think of just a small hardship, but I'm actually struggling thinking about it because those small ones that we don't really focus on, it's just we take it as a small little setback or something, or some little hiccup in the day that we just overcome and we don't think anything about it. And that's much different than these extreme ones that we mentioned. So what else you got about hardships? Is there anything else you want to dive into about it?
Not really, but I guess I would like to kind of touch back with the last episode. You mentioned that guy, that Navy SEAL guy. What's his name?
David Goggins.
So I checked him out, and I think this kind of ties in to, you find I really related to this guy when I looked him up, because the stuff he was saying about where he was in his life, about how he was almost like victimizing himself and down in the dumps. It's like sometimes that's the mindset I get, and it's hard for me to break out of that. But this dude was the most intense dude I've probably ever seen. I can't think of someone more intense. But I checked him out, and holy cow, man, what a transformation. Holy cow,
Absolutely.
Thinking about the stories he was telling about where he was, in a dead-end job he wasn't wanting to do. He was unhappy, unhealthy. And then he's this dude that I think he was talking about at one point. He ran 8 weekends in a row, so 8 different races, and they were all 100 miles each running. 8 weekends in a row, so 800 miles in 2 months. Like, the intensity.
Yeah.
And I just admired that so much about his story before and getting to that point. I don't know what you were about to say.
Yeah, he's running crazy, but like he was probably one of the most out of shape kids too. Like growing up, like there was no fitness to his life, and then he overcomes a pretty, I guess violent would be an okay word to choose for the household that he lived in. Yeah, and then just constant. I mean, there's so many times where he just got put down, rejected. No, you're not good enough. And you look at him today, and you'd believe that he, has had the best life since day one. And I feel like I'm glad you mentioned it, because he's definitely someone. If you're going through something right now, anything at all, I would highly recommend checking him out, because if we can't do it here on this podcast and help you get through it or anything like that, I'm sure he could, because he's been through some shit, and he is definitely on the other side of that spectrum now, and just like just trucking and going, and he's got some good wisdom to share. So audiobook, check it out, but you can just go to YouTube and just David Goggins, and I bet you'll get some crazy good insight.
There's a lot of him I found, and what's good about him is, I think we were saying it before, like you see the end result of dudes that are like The Rock and all these people that I can't be like that. But when you hear his story and see the pictures and all this and that, and his mindset, I mean, I saw right through his like chiseled exterior. And when he was talking about himself and how his mindset, how much he struggled, I was like, holy man, that's me a lot of the time, craving for something more. Like I can push myself more in all aspects. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily like the message, just work harder. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of working harder. But what he did is he found an answer that his soul was craving. And it's incredibly inspiring because of the story of where he's come from and what he's went through. And I don't know, we're talking about hardships, and we're seeing that's how someone who's completely real, how they deal with it and how they bring other people up. And that's incredible. So we don't get enough of that, around people in real life. Sometimes it's hard to surround yourself with these incredibly magnetic, hardworking people. Mm-hmm. And, just look into them. Just get through that. If it's coming across as he's being too intense or cheesy, it's like a motivational guy. It's like, this guy again. But once you know his story, man, it's like he's all of us. He's all of us that struggle with whatever.
Find some kind of relation that you can to him, because he'll say something that'll just have you think like, wow, is he talking about me right now? Like, yeah. And I don't know. I definitely check him out. But yeah, hardships, man. Here we are.
It's incredible.
2020.
And another thing that kind of drove me from listening to him or someone like of his magnitude, I got to thinking about, before I was talking about how I kind of hate Twitter. And this past week or the week and a half, I don't know, I felt like I was taking on, sometimes on Twitter, I was talking to my friend Kyle earlier today, and he's like, sometimes on Twitter there's this crazy perception of these wild opinions that conflict with your own, or they make you feel a burden, because it's like a megaphone that you're seeing the end result, like 50,000 likes, and you think it's a lot bigger of an issue, and it appears like there's this more of a hateful message sometimes, or, a lot more of an outrage sometimes than there really is, because we see a number that says 50,000, and we think, oh my God, there's 50,000 people that support this, hateful thing or whatever, something that you're having a hard time grasping. And I was just thinking, like, is a guy like David Goggins going through these replies that are hateful and supporting this, Probably not. No. So I started thinking to myself, this is not doing my mental well-being any good. And I'd read something earlier that talked about bandwidth and the energy. Like, we all have a threshold, or, we have a certain amount of mental bandwidth a day. And then I started thinking, when I deleted Facebook a few months ago, I deleted it because it was taking so much mental strain on me sometimes, seeing a lot of political things left and right, or sometimes people, a lot of race stuff, and it just was like I had this personality that takes on this burden from it, and it just weighs on my heart. But there's not really something I can do about it, but it weighs me down, then somehow it sheds off throughout the week or so, and I move on, and I see the next outrage or the next upset or next argument, and it was like I was getting that feeling on Twitter, and I was seeing opinions that were bothering me. And I was like, I don't have enough mental bandwidth for all of this. It just bothers me and bogs me down too much. And there's someone that I'm listening to right now, like David Goggins. Do I think he's going through these replies and getting mad? Do you think he's sitting there and doing that? Because that doesn't equal greatness to me. Someone down in the weeds like that. Now, I think it's good to have a lot of opinions that contradict your own and make you think and make you open up,
Absolutely.
But Twitter, the problem about things like Twitter, when you're seeing the end result of a magnitude of a opinion, these are not the experts on the opinion. Oftentimes in the replies, you're seeing awful, hateful stuff that just support that. So there's not a lot of intellect a lot of the time. So it just bothers you even more. So it's like, if you're going to some place to be challenged and to view your mind differently, there's not conversations often happening on Facebook or Twitter. There's usually just arguments, and people are just getting deeper, and it just weighs me down. So I deleted Twitter. I'm down to Instagram now.
Did you delete Twitter?
I did. It's off my phone.
Oh, my.
I deleted it like 5 days ago. Nice. I couldn't handle it. I think I was seeing opinions, and I posted something that was contradictory to an opinion. I just didn't like it, and I impulsed and said, I don't like this, and I got challenged by two of the people, and not in a threatening way, but two of the people that I was, I'm friends with, and I just didn't have it in me to do this Twitter argument. I was just like, okay, I see your points, but I did put myself out there, but at the same time, I don't have that bandwidth for putting myself out there. That's not the mission I'm on right now. The mission I am on right now is, I don't know, not that.
Not
So,
that.
I just want to make a point.
Good on you for doing that.
To analyze your daily mood. I have a mood tracker too. I track my moods.
The one you get a positive and negative out of it.
Yeah, and I just take notes and I analyze everything in my day. And since I've been doing that, I've cut off Facebook. I said, this isn't really bringing me anything. It's not really bringing anything to this. I would promote it on promote the podcast on Facebook and probably get a few hits, but I don't know. That's not really the audience I think.
It's not worth it. It's not
that
worth
we're
it.
going for. And I just have a tendency, like every human, to click on it and see and read the hateful things. And then Twitter was that for me. You know? I don't know. I just felt like it was too easy to have an impulse of an opinion that I wanted to say, and I was going to be met with some backlash. And I just don't have that right now. It weighs me down. So I just challenge people to think about the people that you're aspiring to be like or you're motivated by, and just ask yourself the question, well, do you think they're being weighed down by these minute things on the daily? And a lot of people, stuff like Twitter, arguments and stuff like that, won't bother you, but it bothers me, so I cut it off because I got to analyze everything in my life, you know?
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
All power to you, man.
Got to change it up.
All power to you. And
Instagram is
funny.
next.
It's funny. Hey, don't do that. Please don't do that.
No.
It's funny because I think I tweeted last night something about all my social media has turned into was like a Brew Your Mind advertisement.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, because I forgot there was someone I'm not really friends with, someone that just were followers or whatever, dropped something like, I don't know, like some kind of negative. I think I took it negative as in like all I do is talk about Brew Your Mind or whatever on my stuff now.
I get those people too.
Yeah, I said something last night on Twitter. I was just like, I just realized, hey, all my Brew Your Mind stuff's on all my stuff. You got a problem with it, just unfollow. I did like a kissy emoji. It was like passive aggressive, I guess, now when I think about it. I never do that emoji, but
yeah, it is a little bit.
It's just a little bit. So yeah, it's what it's turned into, and it's. I hear you talk about like you look at the comments and all that stuff, and I think about myself, and I just and especially like sports, there's nothing but hate filled in all the comments of like. You just say something about it. Some national analyst says something about a player or a team. There'll be some troll that has to say something negative in the comments and turn it. And it's just like, because I know what to expect. I can't remember the last time I looked into like a comment section for YouTube or Twitter or anything. I see the main thing and I try to move on from it because I know exactly what to expect. And I know if I dive into that rabbit hole, then they'll probably turn me away from, like social media like it has for you. So I completely get that, completely understand it.
Yeah.
So since you're off Twitter, you probably didn't see the viral thing of this week of the guy kind of like softly punching the back of the lady's chair that she reclined in the airplane.
No.
Yeah, so there was this lady that had he was in the last row. And so obviously his chair wouldn't recline.
Nope.
But hers did, and she had to recline a little bit. And then she's recording with like her right hand over her shoulder to see him, and he's like softly like punching. You can see the chair move back and forth. I forgot what he said. He says something, but he just keeps on doing it for like the video's like 45 seconds, and he just keeps on doing it. So it turned into like this Twitter debate for this week of who's in the right, who's in the wrong. Should the woman have her chair reclined? Should the dude not be doing that? I mean, obviously, the dude shouldn't be. There's other ways of doing that. You shouldn't just be a child about it. But obviously, as the woman, have a little bit of respect. Like there's those things. There's not like a 0 to 100 recline. There's a middle. There's a quarter that you could probably find a nice, easy spot. But it was just funny because that's just the way it is these days. Is there's just some stupid viral thing that makes the public go crazy and have some kind of debate and something to talk about for the week.
Yep.
So that was this week. So now I know that you don't have Twitter.
Yep.
I'll keep you up to date. And now when I think about it, I wish you had birthday on Twitter, but you deleted it. So that makes sense.
It would have showed up on there. Yeah.
It would have showed up. So I didn't forget his birthday, people. But yeah, so here we are. We're recording on Friday,
Valentine's
February
Day.
14th. Happy Valentine's Day, Gibbs.
Oh, man.
Happy belated birthday. Oh, I just shook my whole table.
Heard that.
Yep. Recording today on a Friday. I'm off to Brussels tomorrow. Be back Monday. Everything will be out.
Oh, my
at
God.
Normal time. We'll get the pod out on a Monday. Probably do YouTube videos on a Wednesday. Gives Gibbs a lot more time.
Well, I got time. I'm going to post it. I'm going to try and post it on the day you post on the podcast. I want that to be a consistency thing.
Okay.
So that's just me.
We're still
on my end.
We're still getting it going.
Going.
I posted something on Instagram last week about I was going to hold my breath until the subscriber number changed on YouTube, and I think like 3 minutes after that we gained a subscriber. Now we have 7 on YouTube. I'm breathing. I'm breathing, baby.
That's what I like to see.
Love it. So hey, if you wanna stare at these faces while we get personal, check out the YouTube channel. What's the name of the channel? Is it Brew Your Mind Pod?
Yeah, Brew Your Mind Pod. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Keep it kind of the same Instagram page, and then outside of that, I can't think of anything to add. Do you got anything for me? Actually, there's this new thing that I want to do with you, to really brew our mind here on the podcast.
I like that.
I have a brain teaser for you.
Oh boy.
Are you down for this?
I am. It's gonna put on display
it's pretty
how
quick.
slow I am.
It's pretty short, and we're just gonna alternate each week. We're gonna end the episodes like this. So next week you get to find one for me. So here's the question: you good to go? Got enough cold brew in you?
All right. Yeah.
You can hold it without using your hands or arms. What is it?
What? Oh my God! I'm gonna give people time to answer out there.
That's right. I like that.
You can
like
hold
that.
it.
If you know the answer, comment down below
arms.
right now.
Hold it. Hands or arms. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I have no clue.
The answer is your breath.
I almost
there
said the first thing that came to my mind was like air, because it's like I don't know.
You're on the right train of thought there. I thought you were going to figure it out because I thought you knew it immediately.
I'm so stupid.
But no. This is not why I'm doing it, okay? I'm not trying to make it feel stupid. Otherwise, I'll just stupid segment. But you got anything to add to that?
Man,
or not to that. Forget that. Do you got anything to add to the podcast?
What a great episode. A nice little bit of a change of pace, I think. The energy was on a good level here. I think a little serious, not really that serious, sort of, but a good episode for introspection, I guess, and learning and reevaluating how I view my life. Always in a progression. That's the thing, man. It's a reminder every week.
Campaign.
We're on a mission, and we're not going to let up. You know,
That's right.
Don't let yourself fall down in the well. You'll get wet and you'll be stuck. Keep on keeping on. That's the thing.
Put your floaties on.
Put your floaties on too. That might help. That's all I got, man. I feel great.
Okay.
It's good.
Good. We're a bit more organized this episode compared to our randomness crazy from before. So,
oh my God, dude. Last episode, side note, I felt like I was just taking over the airwaves with nonsense. Good God. How did people make it through that episode?
Oh man, it was good. Sometimes we just need to get on here and just ramble like we do.
I guess so, yeah.
But more times than not, we'll try to remain organized for you people, so we're not all over the place. And if you're listening to this right now, you're in a car, just roll your window down, turn my voice all the way up, so I'm just blasting through your speakers, and just live your best life. Okay.
Yes.
You get knocked down, but you get up again. You get up again. You get up again. That's all I got. That's all we got. Cape and Gibbs coming at you fast, hitting you hard, letting you know what life's all about. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. And hope you guys have a great week. Valentine's Day sucks. Don't forget to brew your mind.
See you, my dudes.